Hey there, Baz at Got A Ukulele again, straight up with another video review of an instrument that I've done a written review of on www.GotAUkulele.com. Go to the reviews section. This is the Godin Multiuke, which is quite a strange and very different looking thing, but there's been quite a buzz about this in the ukulele world recently. Possibly a bit of a Marmite ukulele, a love or hate ukulele for those American friends who don't know what Marmite is. Vegemite, I suppose you could say, for the Aussies. But there we are, Godin, Canadian company, as it says proudly on the headstock, made in Canada, who make a range of electrics, acoustics, mainly guitars, but some time ago created the multi series of instruments, multi meaning multiple pickup. They started with an acoustic guitar. They've done nylon guitars. There's a multi mandolin. There's a multi everything. But the one thing missing from their lineup was the ukulele. So they have developed the Godin Multiuke. This has been designed from the ground up by Godin using their technology. So just a word about what that is. This is a chambered body, so essentially quite a lot of solid body here, with a couple of chambers. So you've got a sound hole chamber down here underneath the bridge where the electrics go, down to another chamber up here where the controls are, but otherwise it's pretty much a solid uke, so no sound hole. And that multi is linked to the fact that we have 4 individual pickups designed by a company called RMC specifically for this uke and for the other multi ukes in the Godin range, and that's really what makes it unique. So we'll come on to just how it's built and what it is. This is a tenor scale ukulele, and that chambered and really nice contoured shaped back, as you can see here. You can forgive these. This is my gigging workhorse uke now, and these are cheat sheets and notes for some of the sets that we've played. It's also the reason why it's not quite as glossy as it was, because it is now covered with blood, sweat, and beer. But there we are. This is a mahogany chambered back, nicely shaped, and a really nice deep red colour with some grain showing through. And then attached to the top of that is a spruce top in this case. This is solid spruce top. They also do a sunburst finish as well, but this is the plain blonde sunburst finish. So it's pretty kind of plain looking, but different enough because of the lack of the sound hole and this business, and I suppose this business, to make it stand out. So there we are. You've got these pickups which are set in a unique rosewood saddle. They've got individual little saddle slots for the individual pickups, and they are kind of gold coloured and are set. Now, first concern some people have raised is how the hell do you adjust them? Well, the answer is you can't, so you are hoping that the rest of the build of the ukulele is absolutely spot on to ensure that you don't have intonation issues. Around the top we have a cutaway for fret access up here, which is a nice thing. The top is bound with a black, white, black and plastic edging, which is really nicely finished. And in fact, the whole ukulele is pretty impeccably finished. I can't find a thing wrong with it. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, on the bass we have black metal strap button, and then further around the jack socket for plugging it in, because this is a rock ukulele. The controls for the uke, a lot of people think that these are individual pickup controls for the 4 individual pickups. They're not. We got the standard volume, and then treble, middle, and bass, and underneath the Godin logo there, which is under the gloss, and it is a really nice gloss finish. The whole thing is finished very well. And that's that, really. The reason why we don't have the sound hole, and this is essentially a solid body, is the main reason we don't have a sound hole. But these are renowned, as are their multi-acoustics, for being superb stage instruments for rejecting feedback. There is nothing here to get that sound coming back out of monitors and vibrating into the instrument, meaning that you can turn this up as loud as you like, and you are really not going to get much feedback. I have pushed it, and you will get a bit of feedback, but it is nothing like a standard acoustic instrument. Next, other strange thing, we have a bolt-on neck, pretty common in the world of electric guitars. It's bolted on with 3 bolt screws into the mahogany neck. Why not a set neck? I don't know really. I personally don't have an issue. You do get some guitar players, particularly those who play Gibson electrics, who seem to think that a set neck, a fixed neck, is a better thing than a bolt-on neck. But to them, I would say, the best-selling guitar in the world is the Fender Stratocaster, and that has a bolt-on neck. So there we are. Elsewhere on the back, we have a port for maintenance of the controls, if there are any wiring problems that need fixing. And underneath here, we have the battery compartment, standard 9-volt battery. I'm not usually a fan of active pickups, but because of the way this system works, there's really no option. This is an active ukulele, and that's the way it is. And underneath there's a hatch for getting to these things and the wiring and whatnot. There's a bit of concern out there from people as to how you get this thing fixed if there was a problem. Certainly if you take this down to a standard guitar tech, he may struggle to understand how to replace these pickups. That said, Godin is a very, very, very well recognised name, and their customer care is renowned to be very good. As I say, we have a mahogany neck, which is not quite in one piece. We have a stack on the heel, but the rest of it is a single piece of wood. I love the shaping up here, you can see, which kind of, when you're holding it, gives a really nice place. This is probably a really bad technique of mine, where I find myself putting my thumb on the lower frets. And also, because of the way that's set, you've got a lot of space up here. This isn't something I write about very often, but quite often with ukuleles, the tuners seem to be right on your hands when you're playing these low chords. And you can bump your fingers on them, basically, but there's a lot of space here between the tuners and the start of that nut. The fingerboard is topped in a rather nice striped rosewood. The edges of the fingerboard are not bound, which is a little unusual considering when I tell you that this uke costs best part of 700 UK pounds. Yeah, you heard that right. But what I would say about this fingerboard is this is, without a doubt, the most comfortable ukulele that I've ever played. My Canalea tenor uke is pretty nice to hold, but there's something about this. This is right on a par with it, if not better. We have rolled fretboard edges, which just, no sharp edges, just really comfortable. A fairly chunky profile, which is so comfortable to get your hands around. It's very nice. Standard fret markers in mother of pearl, and yes, we have fret markers on the side as well for the player to look at. Oh, and the other strap button there. This is not a case of tying your strap onto the headstock. It comes with a strap button there at the top of the uke. This is quite interesting, something you don't see on many ukuleles at all. Pono and their parent company, I believe, use this system, but this is a recess that you can put an Allen key in to adjust the profile of the neck, which is very standard in guitars. You don't see it in ukes, and it basically allows you to put a little bit of bow in the neck for some relief, for more accurate playing and intonation and the like. It's a really nice feature, and I don't know why you don't see it on more ukes. Up to the nut is made of new bone, so artificial bone, which is nice to see, and obviously we don't have bone or otherwise on the saddle because these are individual pickups and they are what they are. And I really like the headstock. It's nice to see a different design from the standard Crown Martin style headstock. It's got its own design with the Godin logo and Multiuke. I think this is I don't think this is necessary, quite frankly. I think that looks a little bit cheap. But it's got a really nice kind of raised, moulded, shaped, I think it's ebony top on the face. It's not just laid on, it's kind of curved at the edges, if you can see that, which is really nice. And then onto the back, we have the serial number, and these are geared tuners. They are unbranded, but they are sublime. They are really, really nice. They turn like butter I love the shape of the buttons. I really like everything about the headstock. In fact, I really like everything about the uke. But I can understand you may look at it and saying, it's not a ukulele, that does not like a ukulele. Well, you know, there we are. I like things a little bit different, and this is certainly that. It's heavy, is one thing I would say. You are not going to want to stand for hours on end and play this just holding it to your chest as I'm doing now. It's heavy, but it is really nicely balanced. This is not top or body heavy. It sits nicely and doesn't cause a problem. But this is a uke that's really designed to be played with a strap and nothing else. I mean, 2-hour gig, strap this on. It's comfortable to hold. The body contouring, like you see on electric guitars, really helps. Nothing sticks or digs into you because it's actually quite a thin ukulele. But it's supremely comfortable to hold, and I've been loving playing this with the sets. As I say, the finish and the quality control all over it are impeccable. It is really, really wonderfully put together. I will stop moving it around in front of the camera now. You want to know what it sounds like. First issue, acoustically, not a lot of sound at all. I say not a lot of sound. This beats many cheap tenor ukuleles, but you're not getting that projection because you don't have the sound hole. So you've got to kind of but what you do notice when you're playing it, excuse me, what you do notice when you're playing it, whether you're plugged in or you're unplugged, is it's got a ton of sustain for a ukulele. And that sustain and that clarity of the notes extends right up the fingerboard. I mean, more so than any other ukes I've played, really. I mean, you are getting very clear bell-like tones right up here if you need them. All over. Some ukes can just start to go a little bit thin, a little bit staccato when you play higher up because you're dealing with such short scale length. But this doesn't. It's pretty remarkable, really. Incidentally, I've got this tuned with a low G, which I prefer on tenors, but it came strung with a high G. Another point on that, I saw a lot of people online saying, "Well, wait a minute, you put a low G on this pickup, you are going to have tuning issues because the intonation's going to go off." Nonsense. You need to experiment. Some low G strings are extremely fat, and that may cause a problem. These are what are these? These are titaniums by D'Addario, and that low G is the right sort of width and works for me. No tuning issues at all. Intonation up to the 12th is spot on. So, you know, we've got a you hear the sustain. And when you play it and you strum it, the whole thing vibrates against your body. You really know you're playing it. So you feel like you're playing an electric acoustic. Does it sound like an acoustic when it's plugged in, though? The jury's still out for me. No, it doesn't sound like a traditional acoustic with a sound hole, but it's not meant to be. It's an electric ukulele. Equally, a lot of cheap electric ukuleles to me sound like electric guitars, and I don't necessarily want that. But this plugged in will take effects pedals very well. It sounds like what it is. It sounds like its own instrument, and that's no bad thing, and I don't think people should really try to compare it to anything else. I was going to lug all my amplifying gear in, but it's all kind of stored away. It's raining outside. It's all for the band, so I haven't got all my amplifiers. But I have got... everybody should have one of these, a pig nose, just to give you a bit of fuzz, but I'll just sort of crank it up and... The fuzz is not the ukulele, it is the pig nose. But I can kind of, you know, throw the mids up there. And that's a really handy feature. If you're plugging into effects pedals, throwing the mid up really gives it that sound like you're playing a single coil pickup, or a magnetic pickup, which pedals kind of prefer. I probably should have bothered with the amp because it is a little bit too fuzzy. So there we are. I mean, this is quite a long review, but I've just spotted as well something I didn't mention. We have a radiused fretboard. You can see it slightly, if I get the camera angle right. Basically, what that means is we've got a slight curve on the top of the fretboard. That really adds to the playing comfortableness. Comfortableness, is that a word? I don't know. Anyway, this is a lot of ukulele. It's a lot of money. I don't regret getting it for 1 minute, and I think I love playing it on stage. But, you know, I understand that you might love it or you might not. I think it is overpriced for what it is. I must say that. But there we are. I don't plan on getting rid of it. This is my stage uke. It comes with its own gig bag, which I have a problem with. It's a padded gig bag. And as padded gig bags go, it's about the best I've seen. I mean, this is seriously top quality. Godin logo stitched into it. Nicely padded, beautiful straps, etc. My problem with it? Well, this is a £700 ukulele and I want a hard case for it. Can I find a hard case that it will fit into? Not yet, no. I think I'm going to be looking at a bespoke case, Sirius Wonga. I think for 700 quid, Godin, you need to be shipping this with a hard case. No excuses. I think particularly because it's got an unusual shape, it's quite a wide body, and it won't fit in most standard hard cases. I think you should really consider that, and I hope you take my advice on board for who I am. But there we are. I would recommend it highly. If you're gigging and you want something reliable and different, why not? Go for it.